join our party, finding themselves in the city of Seren, a beautiful mountain town, tucked potentially somewhere in Rion, based on their research. They were brought here by the magic of Lord Meadowsweet and a teleportation that dropped them into a dragon's lair. Now they're enjoying a lovely walk through the marketplace of Seren, escorted by the mayor, who happens to be a Yuan-Ti, an ancient race, not so ancient, a race created 500 years ago as the perfect tool for war by the Ardent Scales. Humans removed of all their unnecessary and unwanted emotions and rendered down into beings of logic, reason, and cool collection. They noticed while walking through Seren that the town seems to have a number of Yuan-Ti residents who seem to be in the process of learning more about the town. In particular, the mayor, who seems quite insistent that they enjoy the hospitality of the city of Seren, because hospitality is the right thing for them to experience in a wonderful small mountain town. And they are currently on their way to the Sylvan Grove, so we rejoin our party in Seren, enjoying hospitality.
Valenthorn just grabs your hand back and squeezes it a little bit too hard.
And I like wince. I'm like, ow.
Sorry.
And so the mayor's following along you, and he, I apologize, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Cassian. I've been the mayor here for the last 2 months now, but I am obviously from Seren and have lived a long life here in the city.
Obviously, and I mean, it's such a great city. I'm actually kind of glad we got lost and stumbled onto this great city. When exactly was it founded?
Seren has existed for the last 300 years or so as an important part of a vital trade network across the Empire of Rion.
Clearly fascinating. Flip's giving him very encouraging.
And so you don't really have a Smith's Guild or an Alchemist Guild. So what do most of the people here do?
Well, of course, for the predominantly, Seren is made up of hunters and gatherers who collect a number of the exotic herbs and dyes that grow in the mountains, and we trade them extensively across Rion. And as he's talking, he looks over and notices. He seems for the first time to notice Twid, and he stares at him for a second. And you see there's this moment of hesitation where he almost leans away from Twid. Is
Twid leans forward a little bit.
Oh, is that another one of your friends?
Yes, they are indeed our how shall I say, repair repository. They are quite helpful in caring about useful things.
Of course, everything has to have its purpose. That is useful.
And Flip is just trying to
your garb is
laughing at me.
Your garb is most unusual. Where are you supposed to hail from?
Oh, all over. Do you? Yeah,
is that
I
the phrasing
this up
he
recently.
uses?
Yeah, that is exactly what he says. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like being in this Matrix simulation, and I would like a different one, please.
I want to help, but I worry if I open my mouth, I'm going to draw attention to myself, and then I'm going to fuck everything up.
In the
back of Flip's head, Flip is gonna hear Twid's voice go, "Does nobody notice that he has scales?"
You mean if Flip chooses to let Twid speak in his head?
You're right. Don't forget that because of the ring, Flip has to consent to your magical sendings.
Did Flip consent?
I imagine the brain pressure of Twid's voice is very much just the faint echo of their actual voice in the distance, and Flip will allow the sending, the message.
Flip does consent to this message.
Yes. So sorry, what were you saying?
It was Does anybody notice that he has scales?
We notice. We just aren't sure what it.
You can't respond though. Twid's telepathy is one way.
Ah.
He is one
Does
way.
Twid speak anything other than common?
No.
Fuck.
I know. I
So
was
yeah, just there's more incessant motioning behind me.
Selwyn does, but Selwyn is off hunting for a doll shop right now.
And like as he continues to like walk you through, he's like, yes, I'm quite proud of the work I've put in to make Seren the city that it is. A mayor's responsibility is to make sure that a town flourishes, of course, and encourage trade and keep order. You'll notice that the guard rotations in particular are particularly crisp under my leadership. And that the market's profitability is up by 8%.
Can we ride on the Pegasus? Eyes?
The correct term is Pegasi. And if that's is that an important part of this examination?
Yes. Super important.
Of course.
Examination?
I am curious though. What is the purpose of the Asha High simulation? Is that to be another future challenge?
Yes.
Uh,
The Asha High are very challenging.
I was told that those simulations were supposed to take place next month.
There must have been a mix-up.
There was no mix-up on my end.
You
Give
can't-
me a deception. Give me a deception check.
Who?
Calvin, because Calvin's doing all the
Natural
talking.
20!
Ooh, he's sold. He believes you. He thinks that you do indeed know what you're talking about. Mostly because you're not sure that he catches a lot of social cues.
I don't think Calvin does either, so like this is Calvin's element.
I feel like, yeah, we're watching this whole conversation, and it's just like the rest of us making eyes at each other like, the fuck are they talking about?
Of course. Well, obviously, we must be on an escalated timetable because of my success as the mayor. This is where I'm supposed to boast humbly, correct?
Correct. Humble.
Then I will
yet
also add,
boast.
we are on an accelerated timetable, not just because of my success as the mayor, but also because of the hard work and commitment of the townspeople.
And Calvin will give like the white guy. Yeah, definitely. Good nod. Thumbs up.
And he turns to one of the random townsfolk walking by and is like, your contribution is important to me. And is one of the humans that you don't see any signs of scales on. And you can see she kind of smiles back and is like, I appreciate that. Thanks so much. But next time, you probably want to say hi first.
At this point, Flip is just exhausted and pissed because his usual approach to socializing isn't working, and Calvin's weird antisocial approach is, and it's just really frustrating. And he can tell that something weird is going on, but he's too exhausted to really pick up on it. So, yeah, Flip's bad day is continuing.
How do you think I feel?
Also, the fact that the humans are like coaching the scale, like that's what the fuck.
Girl, it's like a
I'm
Yahtzee
apparently a
training
simulation.
town. This is some weird, creepy Matrix bullshit.
And I'm a repository.
Well, we knew that already. But
I believe
not
the
at
term
this
is
level.
receptacle.
You all are terrible.
You started it.
I mean, I did. So he takes you through the marketplace, and you continue to see sort of what you were noticing before. There's a smattering of Yuanti. It seems to be like a smaller portion of the population than just the humans. Where they're interacting, the humans seem to be like, give me, I have your passive insights already.
I will let
Mine's
you know
a
mine is
13.
high.
Mine is 16.
So we just pick one of the humans and we kidnap them, and Thorn stabs them until they tell us what's going on.
If you don't think that was already part of my plan, not with the stabbing, but up until that point, you are dead.
I will say
I was already planning who I was gonna snag.
Valen and Flip, wow, already kidnapping, and you haven't even been in town a day yet. Valen and Flip, as you're watching some of the interactions, you can see that several times it's noticeable on the humans that they seem like uncomfortable in the conversations that they're having, or slightly stressed out about them, interacting with the Yuan-Ti.
If I need to roll further for this, I want to know, like, I would say Flip is used to noticing like social power dynamics. So am I picking up on whether it seems like the humans are more in control and like teaching the Yuan-Ti, or if it's more like the humans are serving the Yuan-Ti? I'm just trying to get a good sense of like, sorry.
I'm gonna say you can do that. You're gonna need a larger sample size at this point. So like if you're thinking about that now and you're watching, give me an insight check, but I'll let you know that I'm not going to tell you the results just yet.
Okay. And I'm still rolling at disadvantage because bad day.
But isn't exhaustion for ability checks, not skill checks?
Skill checks are ability checks.
Oh, okay.
Okay. One was a natural 20, and the other was a 13 on the die, so that's a 19.
Nice, so really good. Okay, so you kind of pull back a little bit from the conversation that's happening, and you're spending your time sort of watching the dynamics between the humans and the Yuan-Ti, trying to figure out, is there like a weird power imbalance there? Is there some kind of feeling of being like forced or coerced, or is it more like guiding? I'm gonna say you're getting the vibe that there's a little bit of artificialness to it all. Like you can see that conversations start, then stop, and then like restart.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. I don't feel like it's a normal conversation going. Like it feels like there's layers to the conversation. So I think I'm trying to dig through the layers.
Flip, I don't think there's any language that we share besides trade tongue, right?
None unless deep tongue. Oh.
No.
I'm gonna
It is the language of the mayor.
Okay? It is.
You did this.
I did. I didn't consider deep tongue as the potential double entendre.
Then where have you
plan
been?
on it? For
more the full
part?
me. Yeah.
Barnaby, make a note for that.
Barnaby, take a note.
Okay, I was hoping that I could have like said something to you without like the mayor noticing, to be like, what the fuck? Like, this is weird, right? Like how they're interacting. But I think I'll just say it in common. I'll just like whisper to you. Like, this is weird, right? Like you're seeing
it. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I was getting some weird vibes, but then when we met this mayor, this is weird. I'm just trying to play along long enough to figure out why it's so weird, because clearly something's going on, and I don't know. My best plan of action with my skill set is to play along and see where it gets me. That usually serves me pretty well.
You find yourself standing in front of a fairly nice the design is a little like a longhouse. Double doors pushed open, like a tavern essentially. So you step in, you see that there is a second floor, just like the trade hall, sort of running along the sides with tables along it, up above. And then the main floor has a number of tables set out and a stage to one side that is currently being occupied by a bard who is not doing the best job. As they're trying to play a fiddle and perform, you can see that they have some of the scales. And like the technical side of their playing is pretty solid, but doesn't have a lot of like charisma to it. And then in the distance, you can see that there's a large bar set up. And what's interesting about this bar is that it is supported by these two large trees that are growing up out of a part of the roof that's cut open. And then their canopy is providing the coverage. And you can see that over where the bar is, there's the same like nice comfy pile of pine needles all across the floor. So it's almost like there's this weird outside space on just one side of the bar. And then the rest feels like a normal bar from like this part of the world.
I feel like Calvin looks at the open roof and just goes, "But what do you do when it rains?"
And Cassian like turns to you and is like, I admit the design is a little impractical, but it's whimsical, correct?
But who has time for whimsical?
Everyone has time for whimsical.
I was going to say I quite like it.
He stops to like look at you for the question, like he's thinking about your question and how he's going to respond to it. Well, people enjoy whimsy, right? They want to be entertained and have fun in a tavern. That's the source of their purpose, is to provide recreation and entertainment for a population, because morale is important. And he like waits, like he's waiting for you to confirm that for him.
I feel like Calvin doesn't, and just like walks off towards the bar.
May is gonna have an existential crisis.
He's gonna think he's failed his test.
Twid is gonna pull on the mayor's hand a little bit and go, "Oh, oh, oh."
As you do, he like jerks his hand away, and it's like, oh, it's you. What can I help you with, small repository?
I don't know why people keep calling me that, but you know what would really raise morale? If you had that bard step down right now and someone put on a puppet show.
Twid, not a puppet show. Anything but
Everybody
that.
loves puppets.
Like, that's Thorin talking. Like, Twid, please.
I don't believe I'm familiar with the puppet show. Is that a type of recreation?
Twid will open their bag and pull out Lucretia and Copernica and go, "See, these are two of them." And like,
Thorin will put a hand on Lucretia and lower her down.
He looks closer and he goes, yes, the children's simulacrums. They're comfort objects, correct? For entertainment?
yes.
They are
Right?
They are very cute.
They are, aren't they? I made them.
Thorn is going to put a hand on Twid's hand and like sort of lower Lucretia a little bit and go like, Twid, but I do believe that puppet shows were what got swapped for next month, correct? And like look at the mayor.
Oh, I apologize. Of course, puppet shows must have been replaced by your presence, Asha High.
If you say so.
Honestly.
And Thorn is going to give Twid a look like it's the don't fuck this up, mommy's at work right now.
Give me a deception check as you're trying to convince him.
Honestly, watching Twid and the mayor and Calvin interact with each other is amazing.
I had to say something because I'm ready to explode. 17.
17? Yeah. He goes, right, of course. I'm aware of that. I've been keeping a very close eye on our schedule as the mayor. That is one of my responsibilities.
As I can see.
I'm still a little confused. Is that a
I'll
no?
explain it to you when you're older.
But, of course, again, I continue to talk, but I don't provide you with the refreshments that I promised. Please join me at the bar, and we can have the proprietor of this establishment provide you with some refreshments, as you are lost travelers. And that is the hospitable thing to do.
As
Thorn is going to hold on to Twid's arms and not move so that Twid goes and lean over and very quietly, like in common, don't give us away.
Give us away to what?
They think we're from Rion. Just smile and wave.
I can do that.
Is the bartender a human?
Start smiling and waving.
Is the bartender a human or another Yuanti?
I will say, give me an investigation check as you approach.
Just play along with what Calvin does.
18.
18, yeah. So as you approach, he has his sleeves rolled up, and he is wearing like a very light coat that has the like sleeves also pushed up as well. That's in this like very nice, pretty, like soft yellow. The shirt underneath is just a plain white linen tunic. And he is doing that very classic, like, bartender, like, cleaning the bar and, like, cleaning the mugs. As you look, his arms would be exposed and, like, part of his chest is exposed as the tunic is open. You don't see any signs of scales either on his arms or his face, which is where you've seen most the Yuan-Ti have scales.
Calvin will do the, like, sit at the bar and try and flag him over.
And he kind of trundles up to you. He goes, "Welcome to the Sylvan's Grace. What can I help you with today?"
We were looking for some food, and maybe you knew when the next trade caravan was leaving town.
And he, like, his eyes, he, like, glances over at the mayor, who's still sort of, like, trundling over with everybody else. Of course. The next trade caravan is scheduled for the end of the week, I think.
And where to?
To Kitane.
Is Catane far?
And he, like, takes back and, like, looks at you, and, like, you can see him looking at your arms and at your face. Not particularly. It's down on the coast.
Okay. Could we just get food and this is the food place. The inn is somewhere else, right?
And he, like, you see him again look down at your arms and look at your face. Yes, this is the Sylvan Grove. It's a tavern, my tavern. He goes, "I don't remember any caravans being in town right now. What brings you to Seren?"
We got lost on our hunting trip, and then we ended up here. My map says there's not supposed to be a town here, but there's a town here.
Well, Seren's been here for quite some time, so your map must be wrong.
I told you were holding that map upside down.
Or we're just at the wrong part on the map. But I mean, yeah, we're just trying to find our way back home.
Of course. Let me just get you that food. He goes, "If you want, there's a table right over there that you can make yourself comfortable at."
As I said, yeah. Flip is gonna head over to the table and just kind of collapse into a chair.
And the mayor comes over and is like, "Oh, Reese, it is wonderful to see you tonight, proprietor of this establishment." And Reese, like, turns to him and is like, "Proprietor isn't the term we use. Tavern keeper would be the correct term. Or bartender." And the mayor, "Of course I remember that, tavern keeper."
These people are so helpful.
And he goes, "Of course." He goes, "Mayor, why don't I take care of our guests? You obviously, as the mayor, have some important business to get back to, right?" "Of course, important town business. I'll be back later. You can find me in my offices if you need me for any more of our assessments."
We're going to confer for a bit. I'm sure we'll be ready for you later.
"Of course, I am at your disposal. Enjoy the hospitality of Seren. Truly, it is a rare treat."
Yes, this private hospitality. Thank you so much.
And he, like, seems awkward for a second and then leaves. Just, like, turns around and walks away. No further interaction.
So we're at a table in the bar. Is there, like, anyone around us? Is it crowded? Like,
It's semi-crowded. Like, it's lunchtime right about now, so there's a number of people who are getting served, like, flagons of ale and, like, a very light lunch for the most part, it would seem. There's a lot of stew. There's a roast that seems to be getting cut down with potatoes that's being passed around. Like, fairly normal fare for a tavern like this during the day. You can see that the majority of people in here are human. There is, like, a table that has several of the Yuan-Ti to one side, and another mixed table that's at the far side of the bar. But most of the people who are around you are all human.
Calvin will make a point of, like, pulling out a couple gold to put on the table. Like, I'm ready to pay for whatever's coming over to us.
If
Is our gold different than Rion gold?
Yes,
Probably.
it's minted differently.
if Flip reaches into his bag of holding and reaches for all the gold that he scooped into the bag from the dragon's lair, do I find a copious amount of gold in the bag?
You reach in and you do scoop out like a handful of gold, and as you pull your hand out, there's just this pile of gold in the center. I will say pretty quickly you notice that it's the number of different denominations. You recognize some coins from your homeland. You recognize a couple of Rionan coins and Retenian coins, and even one of the large coins, the lion of the Empire.
Okay,
Where
I'm
did you
gonna.
get that?
We had to get something out of. I was taking something out of that encounter.
I don't disagree. Maybe use the coins from here to pay, so we don't give ourselves away immediately if we haven't already.
That's what I was thinking, and I'll kind of sift through and pull out the Rionin coins and put them on the table and give Calvin back his coins.
The tavern keeper that you met before, Reese, comes back over, and there's a young woman who's like a server that comes with him, and he starts to pass out large plates that have the same fares you've seen around you, and she's starting to set down flagons of ale as well. And he goes,
Thorn will wave both, like, will hold up a hand and go, forgive me, my kind do not consume food cooked with fire or alcohol. I will be fine, thank you, though.
of course. I can say it's been a number of years since I've last seen one of your kind in Rion.
It has been a number of years since I have last seen a human.
Do you think I'm a repository?
And he like squints and looks at you, and you can see that somebody at the table like behind him also like leans around to look at you like, the fuck? He goes he goes, I apologize. We haven't introduced Stalsered yet.
What? That?
So to answer your question, no, I do not think you are a repository. I'm aware that you're a Stalsered.
What do you mean introduced Stalsered?
And I'm just gonna like.
I mean, I think we
push.
both. He's like, I think we both know.
Of course, forgive my companion. He enjoys our little game.
Deception check.
With advantage, because everyone is helping?
Nope.
Thought I'd
Calvin
try.
is not helping this deception check.
I got a 1. So it's a 4.
And he looks at you and goes, mm-hmm. Right.
So like, it's kind of a weird town.
It's funny that you say that.
Do you have a washroom? I'm feeling uncomfortable and want to leave the table for a moment.
And the server goes, it's right over there if you need to use the facilities.
Thank you. And Twid will pick up their bag and just walk over to it.
she like guides you over and like points it out to you before returning back to the back. The tavern keeper Rees, like as you say that, looks around, and you see him make like he looks directly at one of the other tables, and they look at him, and he like gives them a little like nod of the head, and they bust out a set of dice and like push some of the table back, and they start to loudly discuss the stakes for the dice game.
Do you have a moment to sit and talk? And I'll kind of like give him a knowing glance.
Might be I have a few minutes to discuss things. I mean, you are travelers, of course, and we need to show you the right hospitality.
Yes, that seems to be a strong theme around here.
Doesn't it?
I have to ask, do you enjoy your work?
Not particularly.
And Flip will give like an actual groan of like, ugh, the day continues.
I get the feeling like you're aware that Seren's a little unusual as far as towns go.
We didn't exactly end up here by usual circumstances.
I assumed not when you walked in here with an Ashahai, a Stalsared, and a Verdant. The only reason there's not trouble right now is most of the snakes don't understand the difference.
Yeah, we seem to be playing pretty fast and loose with our luck today. Are we safe enough for the night?
I don't know. Is anyone going to come looking for you?
We definitely have some interested parties hot on our tail.
And he looks around at all of you, and he's like, there's no way you're with them if you brought Ashahai, Stalsared, Verdant in here. He's like, cards on the table. What are you doing here, and where did you come from?
Can I insight check? Can I insight check it?
Absolutely.
Calvin's
You're
already
getting-
just blurting
you're
out.
getting what the fuck eyes from Thorn.
13.
He seems curious. Like he's like tentative, but there's something about your presence that seems just so unexpected that he's like, something's up.
Calvin's just like, we're actually from Britannia, and we didn't mean to come here. We kind of just want to go home.
It's probably a good idea for you to get out of here as soon as you can.
So like, is this not even a real town? Is there not actually like a caravan? Is there?
He looks to the like people gambling and like gives them a little nudge, and they start like the gives them a little nod, and the volume of the gambling goes up a little bit, and you can see that one of the servers has gone over and is like engaged in conversation with the table full of yuan tea, and it seems to be like having a conversation with them and like doing some of that same like coaching. You know, Seren's a real town, or used to be, anyways.
When did things change?
About 2 years ago, our scaly friends showed up with some benefactors with really deep pockets. They bought out anybody that wasn't a Rionan human and got them to leave. And those of us who are here now were paid a decent sum of money to play along. Although I get the feeling like after what happened to the last mayor and his sudden disappearance, those of us who don't play along don't stick around very long.
I have a feeling the interested party on our tail might be one of the benefactors of your hospitable town.
This is let me introduce you to my patron in the mirror all over again.
I said suspect.
You get a sharp kick to the shins.
I was gonna say, why would you
like
tell
you
them
get a
that?
sharp kick to your injured ankle.
I'm going to say that's probably true, given that you're the first people who haven't been planned to be here in the last 2 years.
Then why on earth would you stick your neck out for us?
Oh, I'm not sticking my neck out for you. This is our best chance of figuring out what's going on.
Having this
So-
conversation is sticking your neck out. And if you don't know
Really?
that,
Not really. You assume that if the conversation went poorly, you'd be walking out of here.
you misunderstand my point. But we digress.
You've been nothing but truly helpful so far, and we'd like to keep it that way on both sides. It seems that we have an alignment of certain interests at the very least.
I mean, let's be honest, I'm desperate, and you look like the best chance I've got.
How many are there?
More of them every day.
Are they all
What is it
brought
you
here? Or
want?
are they made from you all? Do you know?
You can make them?
Did you not know?
No, they came with...
They used to be human.
Nope, none of them are locals. Some of the locals disappeared, but I haven't seen them again. They all came with the benefactors, the deep pockets who bought up the town. They said this was a prime opportunity for us to be part of something important. It had the temple seal on it, so the mayor agreed. Then things started to get weird. They showed up. They wanted us to teach them how to be like everybody else, blend in. There's a lot of talk about how they need to know what it's like to have emotions.
Yuan-Ti do not have emotions.
I hadn't noticed.
They are humans who have had their emotion removed and replaced
think
with the logic of a
perhaps-
snake.
Thorn, that we've stumbled across an experiment in a new form of Yuan-Ti.
Really, I hadn't noticed.
And perhaps they aren't created in the same way. Perhaps they're the typical Yuan-Ti start as humans. These
For the
new
village's sake, I
Yuan-Ti
hope so.
seem to be trying to learn how to be human.
You said you came here by accident.
That's one way of looking at it.
Do you have
We
any way
did
to
not intend to come here.
do you have any way to get back?
Walking.
We have gold, and we're hoping to find a teleportation circle, or a ferry, or a caravan, or some Pegasuses.
You're not going to find one here.
So which
Then-
way do we leave, and which direction do we start walking?
If you wanted to try to make a break for it, Catane is not that far away. Like I said, it's on the coast. It's a couple of days' travel down the mountain. That's probably your best bet. They, I'm going to guess, picked our town for a reason. Seren's up here only because of some of the local forageables. There's a rare dye. There's a couple of kinds of animal pelts that only grow in the area. They make good trade, but there's not a lot of other reason to be around here. We're pretty far from the capital. And I assume that's why we haven't seen anybody else who hasn't been an official visitor in the last 2 years. That's why I'm taking a risk on you. You don't look like something that was planned, and I guarantee you everything that's been happening around here for the last 2 years has gone according to plan.
If we're having cards on the table, what is it you hope to gain from this?
He looks around for a minute. He goes, there's a number of us that aren't particularly happy with the situation. Some want out. Some want to make sure a message gets out about what's going on around here, because it's not good. It has the temple's approval on it, but this isn't what's right for Rion. The mayor wasn't the last person to go missing. Anybody who's been disagreeing has started to disappear.
If we manage to make it out alive, I can promise you, word will spread.
Good, because I intend to come with you if you're going to make a break for it.
Let's do it.
How are you in the woods?
Hmm?
How are you in the woods?
And he goes, do you see those trees over there?
It's hard to miss.
My grandfather was a druid. When he built the tavern, he convinced those trees to grow. I picked up a few things.
Good.
I think we can do each other a favor. I have an idea of how we can get out of here, but I don't have the manpower to get us out of here. He goes, I'm responsible for... There's a couple of families that need to get out. It was... their breadwinners were some of those who disapproved and have disappeared. And after they disappeared, their families have started to disappear as well.
How many?
We've lost 5 families already.
How many do you want us to take with us?
8 besides me.
Give us a moment.
Of course. And he steps away like he's going back to the bar. As he does, you can see that one of the humans who's like sitting at one of the tables around you, looking at you, looks at you and like looks down at their lap pointedly, and you can see that there's a crossbow under the table pointed directly at you.
I'm gonna wink at him.
Usual will nod back.
Someone is gonna lean very close, almost for the, like you want to be miming like they're gonna drink, like that they're doing normal things.
Work, work, work. Business, business, business.
Yes, exactly that.
Hello, fellow humans.
If we don't help him, we're getting routed out.
We also can't leave all these people behind, though, if they want out. This is like a super sketchy place.
Oh, believe me, I would like nothing more than to burn this place to ash. But that's not an option.
Also, I told you all that temple was shitty.
I was trying not to bring that up.
As you say that, the door to the tavern swings open, and this shorter woman in this big wrapped-up robe that bears the symbol of the temple comes rushing in. She has like a book under her arm and a large like pile of papers on top of it, and she comes rushing up to the table. And she goes, oh, arbiters, I apologize. I didn't realize you were scheduled for a visit. She goes, greetings and blessings of the temple upon all of you. May the architect shine his face upon you and give you his guidance.
We should be glad Twit is still in the washroom.
I'm so happy. Do not be concerned. The visit was moved up on purpose.
And she like looks at you and then like looks down at her papers and you see she flips a couple of them and her brow furrows. This is
As was Ashahai. Surprise is human emotion, is it not?
I suppose that's true. I wasn't informed of this though.
That was the point. Otherwise, you would ruin the surprise.
See, give me a deception check.
Not a 1, not a 1. Thank God, not a 1. 15.
15? No, I know her passive, and her passive is not that good. Well, I suppose you're right. It is important for us to keep things fresh. We don't want things to get stale. Did the draftman send you?
Who else?
I didn't think things had gone that poorly. Our reports have been very good the last few weeks, but there have been those dissenters. And when she says that, she like pointedly looks at several of the tables around you.
I assure you that we're here purely for informational purposes. It's just a routine surprise inspection. You know.
We're actually not here for just informational purposes. There have been more reports of dissenters.
Ooh, give me another deception check.
7.
I mean, that's impossible. All the reports go through me, and I can assure you there have been no further signs of dissenters after those last few families were removed. I have an aggressive schedule to take care of any other problem in the next few weeks.
That's what we like to hear.
We got to get the families out. We have to convince her to help us get the families out.
Oh, that's what you're doing. Okay.
Hey, no table talk. This is in the moment.
So then, what's your plan? Because the draftman told us to just take them with us now.
That would be very, very disruptive. I mean, this tavern is very important for the simulations we're running right now. They need to learn how to appropriately blend in. The draftsman I know has high expectations and wants to put agents in the field before too long, but like if we rush it, I worry that the temple will have wasted their time and energy on this investment. The overhead of running an entire village like this is staggering.
I'm gonna like pipe up for the first time and be like, well, wouldn't it be better if we took the problems with us rather than leave them? Doesn't that create more work for you in the end if they stay here?
Mean, disruption is important, and I worry that the other families will start to grow concerned if the disappearances become too obvious.
Or maybe it'll just make them fall in line.
I suppose that's true.
Perhaps
and there's important work to be done.
Made the disappearances seem less like disappearances and more like, people choosing to leave.
I suppose there's a value in that.
Allow us to take some of the villagers tomorrow in a public send-off, and we can, make sure they are silenced later.
I mean, I can't do anything like that without conferring with my contacts, of course.
Interesting. So the information I will be sending back to the draftsman is just how unhospitable and unhelpful you have been.
Give me Are you trying to intimidate her?
Fuck yes.
Give me an intimidation check.
Flip is over this. 9. With disadvantage. It was a 17 and a 5 on the dice.
Oh no. That exhaustion is killing you.
It's not good. Not good.
She like pulls herself up and tries to like flatten down her robes a little bit and like stand up, which is not very imposing because she's like 5'5", and so the rest of you are, besides Twid obviously, are taller than her. And she goes, well, I have important work to get back to. We can discuss this later at my office. She goes, we won't be making any changes to the plans until at least tomorrow. I'm going to be conferring with my contacts in the morning.
Of course.
And she like storms out.
We have to leave tonight.
Yes, we're leaving immediately.
Yeah. Someone should get Twid from the bathroom. Actually, I will get Twid from the bathroom and explain what is going on.
Snap cut to Twid in the bathroom, doing whatever Twid's doing.
Twid's sitting on the toilet for a few minutes playing with their dolls, like putting on the little puppet show that they were gonna put outside. But then after a few minutes, they're gonna like look down, turn to look in their bag. They're like, "Are you okay? You started screaming before we got teleported, and I haven't heard anything from you since then."
Dead silence.
Hello?
You see, you look into the bag, and you don't see you see the doll that you're used to. The tattered yellow cloak pulled up over the face. The very like rough, rustic wooden edges, and you're used to the doll gaining some sort of presence or life when you speak to it. It remains unchanged. It just seems like a plain, slightly old and tattered doll wrapped in a yellow cloak.
Hello? And Twid will take it out and like shake it a little bit. Maybe it's just needs a little bit of like pat 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 pat, trying to like shake the batteries into working.
Let's just say, give me an Arcana check as you try to figure out like what could be going on.
Twid is not good at those. 6.
You're wondering, like, to go along with your metaphor of the batteries being run out, is there something wrong with the magic? And that maybe it needs, like, an extra boost.
Oh no. And Twit is just gonna like sit there staring at it, and probably is just gonna keep staring at it until Thorn comes in.
You hear a knock on the door and a soft Twiddlemop. Or Twiddlemop, is that you?
Thorn?
Open the door.
Twit's hand will just like float forward and unlatch the door and float back.
Thorn will sneak inside and very quickly shut it behind him and lock it. Is there a lock?
Yeah, there's a lock. It's a bathroom door. There's a lock.
I don't know.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I will say, Twid, did you put the doll away?
No. Twit is still staring at it.
So you come in and you see a doll that you've never seen Twid hold before. It is like a simple carved wood doll that is like definitely meant to look human. It has this tattered, like mustard orange color cloak that is pulled up over the face so that you can't actually see the features at all. But then there's just these like floppy, like wooden limbs hanging down, and it just has this like aged antique look to it. Like it's seen a lot of wear and tear over time, and you just see Twid holding it up. And it doesn't look like any of the other dolls you've seen so far, because all of Twid's dolls are usually in good condition.
I'm sorry if I was harsh with you earlier. Is something wrong?
Twid will look up, and I don't know if Stalsered can cry, but if Stalsered can cry, there are like tears like dripping out of Twid's eyes, and go, he's quiet.
I have never seen this doll. Is it usually not quiet?
He's always here. He's always with everyone. But he's quiet. And I don't know what to do. And like Twid's like breathing heavily, even though Twid doesn't necessarily need to breathe heavily.
None of you see this. Thorn like sucks in a breath, like a and walks over and hugs Twiddlemop and starts singing in a Shavik very softly. It's not very good. But they're like doing the I'm gonna comfort an upset child thing.
Twid's hands are just gonna like float around Thorn's back and like pull Thorn in for a hug.
I mean, I was already hugging you.
But Twid's actively participating in this.
Twid is an active participant. And Thorn will just hear a little voice like in the back of their head that's just like a thank you, friend.
I do not understand what is wrong with your doll. And I admit magic is not my area of expertise. Perhaps we can look at it later when we are out of this town.
Oh, are we leaving? I don't like this town.
That is what I came to explain to you. And Thorn will explain. This is a fucked up place. They're training you on how to act like humans so that they can send them behind enemy lines, disguise. The bartender's a dissenter. He called us out. We're going to take a couple dissenters with us tonight because the church is involved and they're starting to get suspicious and we have to leave before they get killed. Or we get killed. So we're going to run for the coast tonight. And so I explained to them, you and I especially need to play the part that we are meant to be here.
A repository?
If that is what the Yuan-Ti do not know what you are. They do not know what I am. It is the only reason we are alive.
Okay, I can do that.
For a couple more hours, smile and act like we're supposed to be here, and then we're going to get these people to the coast. And we're going to get ourselves home.
Okay. Twid will put the doll away. We'll take out Lucretia, look at Lucretia and go, we've got this. Yeah. Yes. You and me. And then put Lucretia away, and then just like sit up tall and go, let's get ready and go.
So the rest of you, I assume, return to the table?
Yeah. When we get back to the table, Thorn whispers in Loaming, Unspeakable things have occurred.
Do I hear you say this?
Do you speak Loaming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it in Loaming on purpose.
I think I just give you a wide-eyed look, but don't say anything. But my eyes are like, what happened?
As you say that, the Rian, the tavern keeper, walks up to you, and the dice game's still going. And in particular, you see that several of the people who are eating now are kind of engaged in one of those yell across to other tables sort of conversation. And so they're like, "Oh, Carloyle, I didn't expect to see you here. How's the day been going? How is the hunting?" Very loudly, setting up background noise. And he goes, "You've had some time to think about it. What do you think?"
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Calvin says, we leave tonight.
Good. He goes, I'm right in assuming that you're adventurers. And you have some experience?
Of a sort.
4 levels.
Before my grandfather passed and before all of this happened, he let me know that there is a former Fey barrow in the forest not too far from here. It was wiped out due to a misunderstanding. The Empire didn't appreciate Fey messing with their supply lines, so they removed them. He told me that there is a pool on the inside that allows you to transport yourself to other Fey barrows in other parts of the world. He goes, I have the necessary incantation and ritual to allow us to make use of it.
Do you know of another Fey barrow?
We'd be taking a risk. I'm not sure where it would drop us off.
Valen, do you know of any?
I mean, I was pretty familiar with the one in the Weald. I mean, that's where I learned a lot from the summer court.
It's almost no closer to home than we are now, but it's safer.
Safer is better.
Do you and yours mean to leave Rion entirely?
Yes, we're going to get out of here. It's too dangerous. I'm not sure what's been happening to the families that disappear.
If we can get us to the Weald, we'll be safe.
I can guide us back to Britannia. I've made the journey once before. We'll have to cross through Ashahai territory, but it's better than this.
The Fey barrow will still be dangerous.
Nothing I can't handle. Besides,
Good.
we have Valen.
If you adventurers can handle the Fey barrow and get us to the pool in the center, I can get us to where we need to go. My grandfather left behind some detailed notes. He made use of it once before he passed.
I also do Sylvan, which I think you would know, Thorn. So, I have...
I know that you have something with the Fae. And I'll look him dead in the eye and go, I am Ashahai. I have been trained my entire life for a moment such as this.
Good.
And I
will
am far
see what I can
older
do to
than
collect.
you.
I'll see what I can do to collect the families.
They can take only what they can carry. The journey will be long through paths humans have not walked.
I'll see that they're prepared. I suggest you take rooms at the Pegasus Loft. I have a friend there. I'll know where you are. I'll come to you when the time is right.
Good, because I need some sleep.
That's going to be precious for you. We better get going.
I don't need 4 hours.
I will say it's 9:45, so I think we're going to stop there. You're in the tavern in Seren, the city that has been turned into something else by the sponsors and patrons of the Yuan Tea. They appear to be getting trained to be more experienced with what it's like to act and be human, and to work amongst others, tenuously hoping that you're not found out before you have a chance to leave. So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We're going to leave our adventurers there. We will be rejoining them next Sunday at 7:30 for those of you who'd like to follow along with our adventures. If you are new to the stream and want to catch up a little bit on our history, you can find more on our Twitter, which is linked in our About section. We also have all of our episodes saved in our YouTube. We also regularly do recaps, so feel free to let us know if there's something you're curious about the world lore, and we're happy to drop the information for you. We are not running again this Wednesday, just to let everyone know we are taking the week off for birthdays. But besides that, we'll be back on Sunday. Thank you everyone for joining us, and stay safe out there.